I'd like to introduce Dr. Charles Cuprill. There is no Planet B, a guide to going green for the biological dental practice. Dr. Charles Cuprill was born in Palms, Puerto Rico, and grew up in Northern Virginia and San Juan. He graduated high school in San Juan and went on to complete his Bachelor's of Science in Biology at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. He completed his doctorate in dentistry at the University of Puerto Rico and continued his educational training at Brookdale University Hospital and Medical Center in Brooklyn, New York. While at Brookdale, he completed a 2-year general practice residency where he was named chief resident. Upon completion of his general practice residency, he was given the honor of being named fellow in oral implantology and biomaterials at Brookdale. This additional education qualified Dr. Cuprill to become an associate fellow of the American Academy of Implant Dentistry and a fellow of the International Congress of Oral Implantologists. Dr. Cuprill and his wife Anna moved to Florida in 2006, and they worked for a group practice until 2011, when they decided to open their own dental practice, Orlando Dental and Implant Studio, in the Lake Nona, Lee Vista area of southeast Orlando. Their vision was to open the first truly green or eco-dental practice in Orlando, and were able to complete this vision when their office was granted the designation of Green Dot Gold by the Eco Dentistry Association.
Oh, that's long.
In the process of getting his Green Dot certification, Dr. Cuprill noticed that he didn't have an amalgam separator, a filter that removes mercury from the wastewater of the dental office, and upon his research he realized how dangerous the use of mercury in dental fillings is to the health of his team and patients, not to mention the environment. His realization led to the natural transition of the practice from a green general dental practice to a biologic holistic dental practice. Dr. Cuprill started following the safe mercury removal protocols established by the IAOMT and then became a full member of the IAOMT. Now SMART certified, he also completed his accreditation in the IAOMT and is now a committee member for international membership in the IAOMT. The total commitment to ecodentistry and biologic holistic dentistry is the driving force in everything they do on a daily basis with their dental team.
Thank you. Hi. Hello all. So, I mean, that was, I guess the bio ended up being longer than I thought it would be, but I mean, basically, I've gotten really involved IOMT and with biological dentistry, but one of the things that I found was that what took me from one level to the other was mostly my wife. My wife is very green. Everybody messes around, jokes around. She's a tree hugger and all these other things, but she basically got me going into this direction, and I just basically took the ball and went rolling with it. So when we decided to open the practice, we decided to make it green, and then from there on. So basically, we don't have a Planet B. This is it for now. So we might as well try to do what we can. So I'm just going to put out little pointers, kind of take you through my journey, how I went from point A to point B, and how we got going. So I guess I'll do it here. We got to do the disclaimers, as always. I do not have any financial interests in any of the products or processes that I present. I mean, literally, I'm just telling you guys what I do, what I use, what I do on a daily basis, how we built, where we went. All right, so let's start a little bit with the journey. There's my kids. So my journey in 2010, so I've been working I graduated in 2003. I did a 3-year residency in Brooklyn. 2-year GPR, 1-year implant fellow. Titanium implants, by the way, but I've now changed. But moved to Florida, worked for 5 years for a DSO. It wasn't terrible when I started, and then eventually I decided, you know what, I want to do my own thing. And we started looking around, what do we want to do, where do we want to open, how do we want to open? And in 2010, we decided to open the office, and like I said, inspired by my wife, the way our household gets run and the things that she's taught me since the day we got married, we decided to open the practice green. Now, what do we mean by going green? Anything that stays within the parameters of something very, very eco-friendly, very environmentally friendly. So first thing that we do is we contract with Evergreen Construction. They were a LEED certified builder in Orlando. So when I started looking around and calling, I literally wanted somebody that had the credentials to build my office house to our vision. 2011, we complete our build out. We literally went to full LEED platinum specs. All right, power, water, everything. Now, with Mark, with my contractor, he was like, you can pay the 10 grand for the certificate for the little certificate in the plaque, or you can just be LEED platinum, know you are, and not worry about that. So we know what it is. We never paid the 10 grand to the lead just to get a little plaque that we can put on the door. But at least I can say that I know we went to that rate. I start looking in the practice. I noticed that even though I asked my dental suppliers, I want to go green, I want everything that I need an amalgam separator, they didn't install it. So that's where it becomes the problem, where I start researching amalgam separators, and I start seeing, and I fall into a lot of the IAOMT pages on Facebook. I start following Matt Young, lots of different guys, and I start realizing this can't be good for me. I was using a paper mask like most of us have. I was getting peppered in the face with shrapnel from amalgam because, our drills make everything go straight at our faces. And, I started noticing, I'm Puerto Rican, we eat a lot of rice, right? So I started noticing that I'd be eating and my hand was trembling, and I'm dropping half of what's on this, and I started going, there's something wrong. And I haven't had, not like, Jim Palmer and all this, heart attack and other stuff like that. Mine was just, I had a tremor in my hand. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't have that problem going forward. So I started doing research. It opens up my eyes. And I noticed that, come on, go next. So I continued the research, mercury amalgam separators. Like I said, I started following the IAOMT and Dr. Matt Young. He was our past president. Literally just looking at all his videos, looking at everything on Facebook, just seeing what he was doing. And then I installed a Solmetics amalgam separator. I decided that was the one I liked the best. At the time, I had seen the Mars, but I wasn't really sure about it. I thought it was more expensive. Now I have a Mars. Later on, we'll talk about that. And then I bought my first mercury masks, the big Darth Vader mask that everybody around here wears. And I started doing it for myself. I bought one for myself and one for my assistant. Patients started going, well, why are you wearing protective gear and I'm not? So then that's where things start to change. I did that for 3 years on my own. I started following all the smart protocols because, like most dentists, I'm very skeptical about what goes on, and I want to try it before I make anything official. So then in 2015, I joined the IAOMT. I go to the first meeting in Vegas. I meet Waz and all the guys, and literally the mentorship, like most of us in the mentors committee now we see that, at the lunch break, and literally I was like, this is a place I belong. I love it. Let's get it done. Go to the meeting in 2016, which was in Orlando, so I didn't have to go very far, and I took my whole office, and they were able to go to the fundamentals of biological dentistry. And then Randall puts out the movie, Evidence of Harm. It used to be called You Put What in My Mouth, but he had to change the name. And he gave me the screener, and I sat in my office on the front office computer, on a little computer. We all watched the thing together. A lot of my girls actually started crying because of the same thing that we all sit back and go, well, we were never told about this. And we've been exposed to it the whole time. I became SMART certified, and then I finished my accreditation a year later. So the transition, I found the transition from a green dental practice to a biological practice was something that was seamless, organic, and really, really simple. My team jumped on board. Everybody jumped. My hygienist gave me a little pushback when I took away their fluoride. But once they saw everything and they took the course, it all went down. But the patients were a little harder to educate. I was a full insurance practice. We had lots of patients that were used to just normal. They had their amalgams from before, and it was a little bit of a transition. But then I noticed that going holistic or going biological did not really jive at all with being a green dental practice. And it would drive me nuts the times that I would see the videos, and even taking the fundamentals of biological dentistry, that you would see the amount of disposables that they, like the trash bags that they talk about, that Jim shows that there's nowhere for it to go. So I started thinking there's got to be a better way on the smart side. And that is in there. But I had already been running a lot of my protocols in the office where literally you come to my chair, and I've actually had some people question infection control. And I'm like, we wipe everything down. We have all the infection control. The difference is you don't see my chair wrapped in plastic. I don't need to wrap the chair in plastic if the chair is clean and sterilized and use the EPA stuff. So that's where we make that change. The mission statement in our office, this was back before we even started working biological. We just thought I just came up with that one night. I couldn't sleep. So I was just thinking it's our goal to provide the finest eco-friendly, wellness-based dentistry possible. We aim to be stewards of your dental wellness while continuing to be active stewards for the wellness of our planet. I have that printed on a plaque at the front desk. It's literally the first thing you see when you walk in my door, because it's literally what we look. Like I said, we were talking about what is a green dental practice, all right? So a green dental practice, it's basically a practice that minimizes its overall environmental impact. So nothing special, just we change a couple things here and there. And it allows you to actually be good to your patients, good to yourself. Financially, it's much better, even though everybody thinks it's expensive. All right, and it's good for our planet. We have nowhere else to go. One of the things is back in 2014, we actually got the office what's called Green Dot Gold certified. So they're still in existence. It's kind of dying. But when I started the journey in 2010, they were a growing association, which is the Dentistry Association. It's actually my first exposure to even a lot of the holistic practices, because a lot of the guys that went to that first conference were in this group. Actually, Fred Pokras, who founded it, is actually a member of the IAOMT, and part of their process is very similar to like a LEED certification. But they have their practice in Berkeley, California. Berkeley, California, the department of I forgot the words. So the Commerce Association in Berkeley actually has green certification, and you can go through that whole process. So they took a lot of things in Berkeley, and they actually made it work for dental. And you had to go through a whole process of a lot of different things, starting from energy efficiency, water efficiency, social conservation, lots of different things. You did it yourself, but you had to demonstrate everything to them. And you would send everything to you, and then you would fall into silver, gold. They never had a platinum. So gold was pretty much high. I like to be pretty happy about the fact that Ina told me that we actually scored higher than Fred and her when it came to the points to get your certification. So yeah, I can say that we were, until they kind of phased out a little bit, the highest rate, the highest point total, because I saw what people were doing. I was like, okay, we got to do better. So we started working on those things. How do you green a dental practice? So first you start with technology. All right, so CEREC, digital radiograph, digital charts, cameras, lasers, all these things that we hear about all the time. You minimize the use of paper products and disposables. Disposables are our biggest problem. And you guys know what we're talking about. Air, water, syringe tips, suction. I can't help you with the saliva ejectors because I'm still using disposables there. I would love to find one that I could sterilize, but to be honest with you, it kind of grosses me out. But it is what it is. It's a very small hole, taken apart. They do exist, though. I did buy one time. I just couldn't get it to fit on my suction. I was actually happy I didn't. Energy efficiency, water reduction, air quality. You minimize your waste production. You minimize the use of toxic products, and a lot of us that are using ozone, that's probably the easiest way to go, but there's other stuff that you can deal with. Having an amalgam separator. I hope everybody here has one. I'm just happy that we all have to have one as of next year. I wouldn't expect that in the political climate, but we got it, so that's a win. Geographical location, so basically, where do you set up your office? If you're in the middle of nowhere, it's hard to be green because people have to drive to you. So that's another thing. Minimizing your carbon footprint, those are things that you can do aside and even with your labs and stuff like that. Engineering and construction, and then there's always social responsibility. Okay, but a lot of this literally I pulled from the Green Doc certification. So when I was doing the Green Doc certification, that was all the different areas that you had to kind of tick those boxes. So technology. I don't know what scanner, if anybody does have. I have a CEREC. I've had it for a long time. I finally paid off my OmniCam, and they came out with the Prime Scan. And I will stay with my OmniCam for a while because I like it. Okay? So the Trios, anything you have. Now, you go with that technology, you just eliminated what? You eliminate temporaries, impressions, sending, that jumping in the car or an airplane, going to the lab. All right? All those things, you just dropped your carbon footprint. Right in a second. I don't buy, well, I'm not going to say I don't. I buy impression material for dentures and stuff like that, but I don't buy much impression material. I think if I order it once a year, I order one package of Aquasil and we're good. Lasers. I have a Photona, and I know Photona's been here, and Val Cantor, they took it to the next level. That thing is the greatest thing I ever bought in my office after the CEREC. And if you guys have the budget for it and you want to have something that's just you're going to use it on everything. And even things that aren't dental. Maybe not on your patients, but on everybody else. If I could take it home, I would. But, yeah, if I could, I would. I mean, you can do so many things. I mean, I'm starting to bald a little bit, so I'm actually going to try to get my hair back. But, there's so many different things that you can do with the laser. But at the same time, it brings in technology. Your digital radiography and your charts. I don't have a chart room in my office. And to be honest with you, I feel like my office sometimes isn't big enough for all of us that we're in there. We're not a big office. So I imagine having a whole room full of charts. It would just drive me nuts. One, just the old bookstore smell would drive me crazy. All right. And the charts, I use EagleSoft. I know there's a lot of stuff maybe I should go cloud-based because then I could check it from my phone, but I like being disconnected. So that's the easiest one from a technology standpoint. So, I mean, there are my droids. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so, my R2 unit's there. I happened to take that one day. I was literally working on a lady doing a crown. I pulled out the Lightwalker. So lots of different things. I mean, I still use the drill to prep the crown. It still doesn't work for crowns and stuff like that, but there's so many things for disinfection, pulp capping, different things that you can use there. Equipment. This is one of those places. The first 3 chairs that I set up, and I have 4 functional chairs right now. I bought, like all of us when we open up our dental practice, you buy everything from either Patterson or Shine or whatever, and just like a package deal. So I went with 8 chairs. They were new, so I kind of violated this principle a little bit. But then later on, when I set up my 4th op, I literally went through a used equipment guy, basically an equipment repair guy. And he was in my area, local. So again, going to the local situation. I actually got my first Dentair vac from him. All right, I went to Nick and I said, this is in my transition to biologic. I said, Nick, I need one of these things. And I showed him an Air IQ because, Air IQ is pretty and sexy, right? But the Dentair vac does the same thing, that's cheaper. And he said, I don't know what that is, but I got something like that in my, you want to try it out? So he brought it over because he had an office that was doing air abrasion. They shut down. They just gave it to him. So he brought it to my office and I started messing around with it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I started looking at the IAOMT and I was like, oh, Dentair vac. Oh, that's what I have. He actually ended up giving it to me because my buddy Jorge here in the crowd, and he bought some equipment from him. He's like, you know what? You got me this business. You can have it. So my first Dentair vac I got for free. So it worked out. So Renew Digital. Renew Digital is a great company you guys can utilize. Panos and Cephs and CBCT. I mean, if you want to pay $100,000 for a Galileos, go ahead. I bought mine for 40. It's a 2010 unit but it only had 300 shots on it. It does the job. For what I want, we're looking for cavitations, implants, stuff like that, any day of the week. But I bought something that would have gone to a trash tube instead. And then, like I said, the local equipment guys. Paper products, big problem in a dental office. All right. Number one thing to help there would be a chartless office. Second is kind of, you just would think that it would be really simple to do, and it is just setting your printer to double-sided printing. Most of us just print one way. All of our printers have a two-sided print option. So that's something you can literally do when you get home. Using email for patient receipts, we do that with our patients. We ask them, do you want it? Some patients want it printed, so we give them the option. Tablets for treatment plan presentation, emails for copies and stuff like that. Most of my intake forms are on the computer, on the laptop. The patients walk in, they do all that. I don't even have a portal online because I don't want them printing out stuff and then bringing me paper. It takes a little bit longer. They do it in the office in the front. It just gets done. Direct deposit for the team. Some insurance companies will pay via direct deposit also, so now you're eliminating the amount of mail that comes in. Sending out mailers. I know we have to do marketing, but sometimes mailers is just, you're sending out 1,200 pieces of paper that people literally go from the post op, from the box to the recycling bin, hopefully. The paper products that we use in the office, we try to make good use of bamboo, sugarcane, recycled content paper. All right, we don't have paper towels in the office. In the restrooms we do for the patients, but our use, we actually use, it's a company that came out of Shark Tank called Bambooies. And they're basically bamboo-based paper towels. And you use them, and you throw them in the washer. And then you fold them, you put them out again, and you throw them in the washer. And these things last forever. And you wash them, you keep going. That's a great thing. All of our printing in the office, we work with a printing company locally in Orlando that does everything on recycled fiber, but they also do all of our printing with soy-based inks. And that's a huge plus. That works up. Then, setting up the recycling program in the office. I literally I have to pay for a dumpster in my building because nobody else in the building wanted to do it. So I went to the landlord. We own our space, so we're technically one of the condo owners there. And I told him, I want to set up a recycling. You guys don't have a bin. He goes, well, it'll cost you this much. I go, fine. That's fine. Just add it onto my yearly condo dues. So we have literally a dumpster in the back that is just used by us. Anybody else can use it if they want to. We have it locked, though, because a lot of people go in there and throw their junk in there. And then we get yelled at. Disposables. Disposables is a huge problem. This is when I started doing the research and trying to figure out how can we eliminate the amount of stuff that we use in the dental practice. I went straight to disposables. We eliminated plastic barriers. All right? Most offices that have plastic barriers, unfortunately, at least when I was working DSO, all those barriers that hang on the hoses were there for weeks. They didn't get changed after every patient, but we don't have any of that. I don't use the tapes. I don't use anything. We wipe down the chair the way it's supposed to be. Not only do we wipe it down with ozonated water, then we come back with Optim 33. I don't use Cavicide. Optim 33 is basically from Cycan, and it is a Cavicide, but when it breaks down into water and hydrogen peroxide. Compostable patient cups. Those are fun for those people that are used to filling them with water or tooth and gums tonic when the patient sits down. I don't recommend that. It literally disintegrates in front of your face. And I learned that the hard way. We would put it on there, and all of a sudden I'd see a puddle. And the cups were just, and you can I buy those at Patterson. No, we get them from Quill. So you can get these on normal cups. That's Staples. And it's a compostable patient cup. Sterilizable HV, all right? You can literally go and buy metal suction tips. They come with brushes to clean them. It's a little bit more work for the assistants. But you know what? You use the suction, you clean it out really well. Again, ozonated water and everything goes through it, and you know the thing is clean. You put it in your ultrasonic, then it goes through the autoclave. No plastic tips. If you really feel like you don't want to go to reusable tips, there's always the option of using compostable HV tips. They're paper. It's called EcoTip. They're not expensive. It's very similar to all those paper straws that we're seeing now because people don't want to use straws. And yeah, it breaks down. But I started with that, and then I said, you know what? I'm just going to order the other ones. And they're in every kit that we have, every sterilizable thing. You can get it. I've never used it. I've never had the problem of really any patient really complaining about jamming. I mean, I try to make sure that the assistants aren't going in there, so go at a good angle. But I think you can get those, the silicone tips. So it's not a problem. The air water syringe tips, that's easy. ADEC, I have ADEC chairs. They sell the tips. I just bought a bunch of them. I think you buy $100. You buy like 8 or 9 of them. And then you just switch them out and everything. Excuse me. Headrest covers. This was kind of funny. So a lot of the paper products that we use in the chairs, because everybody uses them. I wish I didn't have to use headrest covers, but it's kind of like, got people with hair dye, got people with all this, and it kind of gets on your chair, so you want to protect it. When I started looking, and I buy my stuff from Patterson, when I started looking through, they had everything. And it was all Patterson brand. And even my Patterson rep was flabbergasted because she didn't know. All their products were 100% recycled material. So the bibs are 100% recycled material. The headrest cover is 100% recycled material. And she's like, really? I go, it's on your site. So that's what I do. Like I said, it's not hard. You just got to look at the materials you're using. It says 100%. That's what I buy. EnviroPouch is probably my favorite product. It is basically reusable cloth sterilization pouches. They have a thin membrane on the inside. I don't know exactly what it's made of because it's proprietary, but it's FDA and CDC approved. It works just like a sterilization wrap. All right, you literally put your stuff inside the pouch, you flop it over, you stick in the sterilizer, and you're good. It's the blue one. They're either blue or, you know what? I'll be honest with you. My favorite color is tan. The blues through the sterilizer start getting really disgusting. The greens, the same. The tan ones, for whatever reason, kind of stay the same color. So like when you pull it out, it doesn't look like it's burnt or cooked or wet or anything like that. So I like the tan. Barbara, she's great. Literally a small business owner. This is a lady in Atlanta, Georgia, who makes them. And you can tell her what you want. You can get custom sizes. Do I use disposable sterilization pouches? Yes, I do still. Because there's certain things that I need to be able to see through. When you have those single instruments in the drawers and stuff like that. But hand pieces, everything else gets thrown in an EnviroPouch. The basic setup, I have it in a cassette, and I have a specific pouch that's made for my cassettes. I have everything in cassettes too, just to make it easier. We eliminate disposable impression trays. Not only do we get rid of those because I use some that are actually compostable. They're really hard to find. I don't think they sell them anymore. I just bought them all out of California, and I bought a ton of them. Since I don't really use them very often, I still have them. All right? And then this is a really funny one that most people don't really see much, but you can buy your prophy paste in bulk. You do not have to buy it in little containers. You can buy 6 holders for $10 and then have the hygienist puts it in there, and then you go through a sterilizer. They sell it, and they sell it fluoride-free, by the way. So you can get it. It's a Sultan brand. It's just a little jar, and it lasts forever. I think I order prophy paste. It lasts forever, every couple months. So it's nothing crazy. So I took this picture. This picture was actually on the Dentistry Association's Facebook page way back when, and it said, "What would you rather have?" The top one being a typical disposable heavy office, all right? The bottom one being following the protocols. I mean, I don't use the cloth towels or anything like that. I use a 100% recycled bib, but it's still the same thing. But that's basically what it looks like. I want to say I take out 1 13-gallon trash bag out of my office every day. And we see, like everybody else, and that's about it. When we talk about, this is, again, I stole this from AIAOMT. This is basically the equivalent of what one operatory produces in a year in disposables. Okay? So that's what normally goes to a landfill, and that's just all the stuff that you would throw on there. Going here, we start talking about, that picture looks a lot like the one that Val Cantor was showing. Hold on, let me grab something here. Be easier than me just pointing. So this picture right here looks a lot like the one that Valerie was talking about. But, it says here, when we help reduce plastic waste, we help protect our environment. This is the EnviroPouch. Okay? I used to have them in blue. So yes, but now I've actually gone to the tan ones. But literally, that one's for your handpiece. This is the big one for the others. And then these are the water pick trays, which were amazing. They were called eco trays. And they're made out of cornstarch. The only bad part about them is sometimes if you have an impression that's hard to get out, it'll break. But like the handle will break, and then you just got to grab it and pull it out. The impression comes out fine, but the handle sometimes will snap. It's Waterpik's Eco Trays. I think they've been discontinued because I had to literally go through a provider in California, and I don't have very many left. And I'm starting to get sad. When we go to disposables for Smart, all right, you see all that where the patient's covered head to toe completely. And I forgot to put a picture in there, by the way, of one of my patients. It's all the Tyvek, they walk in, it's, when I saw the movies and the first videos, and I'm going, it's the ET scene. They were in a full body suit and the whole 9 yards. Well, I was talking to Randall Moore, who makes the movie, and now he works with his own little company selling products to help protect ourselves. He said the Tyvek suits are actually not even proven to function, to work. So I've just never been one to use that Tyvek suit, plus it probably makes it really hot. I just use a disposable, that's one time when I have a disposable, because we have to do certain things. But on the patients, we use a full vinyl full body drape. They sell it to you as full body, depends on how tall you are. If you're 5 foot, it's full body. If you're 5'6", it's probably ankle length, and if you're any taller, your feet are out. But it's outside of that scope of we have to really worry about. All right, and then the recycled bibs, that's what I use to cover the face. So the bib comes all the way to here. Then I literally have a face drape, dental dam, drape over here, one on the chest. The patients cannot see themselves. They always want me to take pictures. So literally all you can see is the tooth through the dental dam. But it allows us to eliminate at least those little Tyvek covers that we're using on the patients. Less stuff to go out. Yeah. I bought it on Patterson. It's like a clear vinyl drape. I can find out for you. You guys, at the end, my email's on the end. You guys can shoot me any questions. I literally just got that because I was looking for something to cover the patient that wasn't throwaway. And it's just clear vinyl. It covers them up, and then you wipe it down with Mercon. So the indoor air quality. This was one of the things that actually I had done in the office when we were building, and it wasn't that I was doing it for the biological side. But we installed our HVAC unit, our air conditioning unit has a ducted return, which was a little bit of an upgrade. But what it basically means is the returns go through ducts and get kicked out of the office. I don't recycle any of my air. Our air is constantly being pulled in from the outside into the office and then up into the plenum. So there's never a recycling of the air. So now any of those mercury any particles would be gone. So I got a double whammy there without even knowing it. So it was a good investment. Individual filtration systems in each op. I've got sometimes, aside from I call them Dumbo, the air IQ. Aside from the air IQ being in the room, you can get HEPA filters. There's this really, really cool one I've been seeing lately called Molecule. I've been wanting to order one, but budgetary, got to hold back because it's like $800 a piece. But it's supposed to literally kill every virus, everything, and just filter the air. It's great for asthmatics and all that. So I'm thinking about getting that. My wife's a big essential. She believes in essential oils big time. So we have diffusers in every op. Patients can pick what flavor they want, what scent they want. All right, that works well for air quality. And then, following smart, having the Dent Air Vac or the Air IQ, now your air quality is going to be much better. See, in the office, I'm perfectly happy. I have open bay, typical modern office. I don't have closed off ops because I wasn't thinking about that. Now I would have built it with closed doors so that we can contain everything. But I don't have a problem with my kids running around the office. I know I've never done a measurement on there, but I know we've got enough stuff in there that I don't worry about the air quality in the practice. Water reduction. This is actually pretty simple to do. If you have an old office that utilizes water to create suction, change your suction unit. Most of the suction unit now are waterless. I mean, just the amount of water that goes through a suction unit to create suction is insane. We use foam. I use foam hand sanitizer for my hands. If my hands are dirty, like actual soiled, I'll go to the water and do it. If not, I'm literally just all the time. It's always fun when you find paper cuts, with the sanitizer. Our chairs in Florida, we have to do this because the water is so hard that I don't want to run plumbing through my chairs. So we have self-contained units. Everybody has them with the bottles. So you use those. Now you're able to maintain. We use distilled water, but I put ozonated water in there. Now I know everything's clean. The ozone course that just changed everything when it came to that. And then low flow fixtures and toilets or dual flush. So we have all that, making sure that nobody leaves the water running or anything like that. It's just little simple things when it comes to water use. Energy reduction. So I live in Florida. It's hot. I have a 2,500 square foot office. And I pay about $300 a month in power for a business. I think that's pretty unheard of. All right, and that comes to the construction of the office, of the interior of the office. I didn't build the building. I've got single pane windows. I don't know how the hell he got that to work. But that's our bill. In Florida, and I cranked the AC, 70, 71. Everybody's always saying it's cold. But we run around, We're wearing smart gear. We're wearing Darth Vader masks and all that jive. If I had it any warmer than that, I would die. Energy Star appliances, that's the simplest way. You look for something that says Energy Star, it's going to waste less power. We've got motion sensors throughout the office, literally to the point that I walk into my house and I expect the room to light up when I walk in the door. Because we have that everywhere. And I walk into an op and if there's I can tell when my patients are literally out cold sleeping because I'll walk past the op and it'll be dark. And they're just not moving, so the sensor's not picking up on anything. That's good. It's bad for halogen lighting because it blows the ballast out, but I've changed them all to LED anyway. So now it's good because of the on, off. But it just happens all the time. I know when nobody's walking down the hall or anything like that. Having an efficient air conditioning system. Programmable thermostats. If you want to get one of those Nests, I just have regular Honeywells that I just have set. From this time to this time. Like right now I know that I'm here, my office air conditioner's not running. It's set to 80. So it doesn't get too bad because we have to worry about mold. Solar, in process with the office. I had it done at the house recently. I love it. One of my pastimes is checking out the little app to see how much power I'm producing on my roof. Whoops. We don't need that one anyway. Not anymore. The federal one was, the Florida itself doesn't have an incentive. We had the federal tax credit, and so we had, where's the backspace here? Hold on. No worries. We had the federal, so we got the 30%, but that's about to go away. This year I think is the last year, and it's 25. Next year it's done. Waste production. So the slide I kind of skipped over there said that, practicing eco-friendly dentistry is as simple as telling people to turn out the lights when they leave it and turn off the computers. I'm always the last one out of the office. I do a lap. Because even though my girls are harped, they'll leave a computer monitor on. They'll leave an ultrasonic on or something like that. Just walk around, just turn everything off. That's simple. Waste production. So you want to establish a recycling program. In my case, like I said, I had to get a dumpster for the office. And we have, big collectors in the lounge, and then we go there. Reducing the use of disposables. We have a composter, all right, in the back. So you use the composter, kind of get going. Like I said, I produce one 13-gallon trash bag a day. And on top of that, I actually buy my trash bags, and they are 100% biodegradable. So, they're a little more expensive. You're probably spending about 25 cents a bag versus 17 for hefty bags, because I've done the math. I can deal with that difference in money. But I know these are called, it's like Planet, I want to say it's Planet Earth or Planet Green, and I buy them on Amazon. They're a millimeter thick. They are pretty strong. I mean, you're not going to leave stuff in there, again, because they'll start to degrade. But we've never had any trouble that you pick up a bag and boom, it's broken. But at least I know that the little bit that I throw out isn't going to spend eternity in the landfill inside the plastic bag. That's just, makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Okay, I just jumped. All right, so toxic products, all right? So being mercury-free and mercury-safe, now you just eliminate a lot of toxicities in your office. That's a simple. No cavicide. I use Optin 33 instead. Like I said, that is a product by Sycan, and it breaks down into water and hydrogen peroxide. But it is it kills tuberculosis, it kills hepatitis, it's accepted by the CDC, so it is approved for use in our practices. And like I said, I also use ozone. So we're combining Optin with ozone. Now I know I'm not putting quats on everything and everybody's walking around the office. I don't like it when I look at a cavicide jar and I see the sign that has a baby and a no through. Okay, because like literally if you're having to tell some parents not to use that on their babies, then why are we using it on our countertops? So the Sycan, I don't know if you've ever been to a meeting where the Sycan rep's there. The guy will be there washing his face with the wipes. I wouldn't go as far as doing that. They're still pretty strong and they make you itchy, because I've done it. I mean, everybody who here does surgery. All right, how many times have you gotten the splatter all over your face? Because it happens to all of us. And I've wiped down with the wipe, and it's fine. But it is what it is. For the ultrasonic, we have enzymatic earth. All right, it's Enzymax Earth. So it actually another one of these ultrasonic products that breaks down into things that are bioinert. We don't have to worry about them. Steam sterilization versus chemical sterilization. We have a steam sterilizer. I think everybody is pretty much at a steam sterilizer at this point. And then being fluoride-free also helps eliminate the toxic stuff. Neurotoxin, down the drains, all that jive. So we got rid of that. I couldn't tell you the actual cost difference. I was having a conversation on Facebook with Nicole Vane in California, and I want to say it's almost. She was saying it was like $10 for the Optin. She pays $4 for the cavicide, but that's the one place where maybe I spend a little bit more. But they last forever, as long as the girls aren't completely going nuts with it. And like I said, we do ozone first, and then we use the Optin. But it's one of the places where I would rather spend a little bit more money. Again, than see the baby with the, because that really gets me. So, when we go here, ozone, so I got my little ozone machine there, the steam sterilizer, and then the Optin wipes. So they're Optin 33, like I said, they call them Optin 33 TB because they kill everything within 33 seconds. That's what they mean. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Because I have tested other different autoclaves and they're off the chart and they're vacant. And so the exhaust gas, if that gas is exhausting in your office, you don't want to be breathing it.
Yep, and it does because it exhausts right there.
And I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe powder or sulfur or something as a way to decontaminate it.
Very true. Yeah. I forgot to put that in there, so yeah, you're right.
That's for the sterilizer?
That's for the sterilizer. Yeah.
Is it like a strip or something that measures it?
No, it's the Jerome mercury meter. You have to rent it. It's like, what is it, like $600 to rent it?
I'm not sure. To rent it. I bought one about $10,000.
All right, yeah.
But I was horrified at what I see when I cut out
Oh yeah, I mean, just watching the movies and the videos on the IAOMT pages, that's what got me going this route. So now going to the amalgam separator, that was a good segue, by the way. It's an EPA regulation. That's a 2020. All right, so if you have it, good. If not, you got to get one. I know in Florida, my equipment repair guy, he basically is the guy in Central Florida that installs Mars and sells them. And he's been trained really well and all that. And he's telling me that in Seminole County, not so much I'm in Orange County, Seminole County, they're actually having the counties coming in and inspecting offices left and right to make sure they're already in compliance. And the beauty, and not that I'm pushing Mars or anything, but the beauty about Mars, they do give you a certificate that you can show the inspector when they show up and say you're in compliance. If not, with my Osomedics, I didn't have one until I sent the stuff in to get recycled. But the reason why I changed from one to the other was, I don't know if anybody has actually serviced the Solmedics. When you take the filter out, if you turn off the suction, you will be given an amalgam sludge shower, and that's not fun. It happened to me one time because my assistant was like, oh, wait. And I said, no. And she hit the button, and I had it off. So, yeah, that was fun. We do contribute 6 million pounds of mercury waste to the environment a year, just from our wastewater. And then it goes straight to water plants. If you guys want to see the algorithm of how it moves, IAOMT's got the big the displays up there, and it shows exactly what happens to all the mercury we put in the environment. It goes up and down and in and out, and it just keeps going. So again, that was the Solmedics I used to have. Okay, now we've got Liberty Boss here. That's all now gone. We took it off. We got the 5-gallon containers to basically get that gone and recycled. Geographic location. So your geographic location, like I said, is kind of important. Urban being ideal, and I am not urban at all. I live close to the airport in Orlando. I'm not in downtown Orlando, but I am on an area where there's a bus route. There's enough traffic that goes by, and a lot of the reason why I have this on here was it was again one of the things that was a kind of one of the points in getting the Green Dock certification. They had told me that there was going to be a bus line down my street. That was planned by the city of Orlando and Orange County. It never happened. I got points for it because I had the documents saying that they were planning it. They're still planning it. It just hasn't happened yet. But that's part of the thing, is being in an area where people can get to you on mass transit. I have a bike rack in the office. Part of my plan is that when I do go solar, I want to have a little solar charging station. I think that might be a little bit ambitious, but why not try it if you can, if it's not ridiculously expensive. But those are things that would help you green the practice. Your carbon footprint. So, this is one of those things that's kind of a gray area. You can offset your carbon footprint by buying offset credits, like TerraCycle and all these. You can buy, like if you're buying some of these airlines, you'll buy tickets and it'll give you the option to offset your flight. You pay like $3 or $4 and they buy offset credits, which basically means a company goes out and plants a tree. So they offset you there. Personally, I like to utilize local labs. So I use pretty much all my labs are within 20 miles. And I try to keep it to that. And most of them I used with Cert Connect. So Serona Connect. I send the impression to them via email. So I just eliminated the carbon footprint of one drive out. They drive it to me, though, so there's still no way to do it. But I'd say about most of my stuff I'm making in the office myself. I only send out bridges. So if it's a bridge or a denture or an implant crown, now that goes to the lab. Single crowns, multiple crowns, everything else, I'm milling in the office and doing it right there. Which also helps because it eliminates temporaries. It eliminates impression material. Like I said, solar and all the energy stuff, that's going to help, and conservation helps lower your carbon footprint. So your exposure. Your construction engineering, this is probably when we built out, like I said, if you're going to build or if you're going to remodel, try to find a LEED certified construction management company. They're not more expensive than the others. You can actually have them just basically set out there and bid. And they're probably, my green guys were actually the lowest bid for my office because they wanted the job and they knew I wanted it and they wanted to use this as a showcase. So follow LEED construction principles, work with your dental supply. Like I said, Laura, my rep had no clue how many eco-friendly products she had in her catalog. And now she does. So we kind of helped educate her on that one. So she's working on, we were able to get that and everything that I found 100%, not 50% recycled material, 100% recycled material. So it worked out to my benefit. So your social responsibility, that's kind of this is more of the kumbaya section of going green in the office, where you just want to motivate your patients and your team to kind of be a little bit better. The Eco-Dentistry Association used to have a program they called Save 90 a Day, which was a campaign to get people to stop running the water while they were brushing their teeth. And they were saying that if you turned off the water while you're brushing your teeth, you could save 90 gallons of water, 90 glasses of water a day. So they had that program going. So that was something cool. We had the posters in the office. We have them in the bathrooms, tell people that, I even bought stickers that I saw at we have a local restaurant in Orlando, and when you used the restroom, and they had these stickers that said, "These come from trees," in the bathroom. And then it says, you can buy the sticker at thesecomefromtrees.com. So I bought a thing of stickers. I put them all over the office. Just little things to just remind people. And then, you want to support your local business, your environmental causes, and, I like to hope what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to motivate everybody about going green. It's not that expensive. It's not that bad. Marketing. Like I said earlier, you want to move away from mailers and paper-based marketing materials. Use social media, digital-based marketing. I can be better at that. I'm not that great with it, but having a good website and just basically do everything word of mouth. Most of us are word of mouth because of what we do and how we do it, but there's no need to blanket the neighborhood. Costs. I know a lot of this goes down to dollars and cents. A lot of people think that going green is expensive. It's actually the opposite. So your costs go down because you're not buying disposables. You're not. You spend a little bit more for suction tips and air water syringe tips, but I don't think I haven't ordered any more of those in about 3 years. They don't die unless you're nicking them with the burrs. That's a different animal. Paper. We don't really use a lot of paper in the office. Stamps and shipping, if you're not sending things one way, you're saving a little bit money on shipping costs and stamps. And impression and temporary material. Like I said, I buy temporary crown material every 6 months, maybe impression material once a year. And we all know how expensive Aquasil and Impergum and all that stuff is. Yes?
What do you do with, after you wipe your reusable material, what do you do with those wipes or the disposables that have mercury?
We have to dispose. There's no real way to dispose of that. It's like Jim Palmer tells you right now. You just put them in a bag and throw them in the trash. So yeah, we put them in a bag and off they go. I wish I had a better answer for that, but I looked and looked and looked, and even from the first fundamentals of biological dentistry course I took, I was kind of sitting there going, how can we get rid of that big pile that he's showing in the back with his picture? He walked out with his mask on. I know if you guys were there, he was there. So yeah. Hey buddy.
How do you do with the old burrs?
The old burrs, the same thing. They go into the sharps. There's not a lot of things that you can do, but they go into the sharps container.
Okay.
So, like I said, you've got to kind of pick and choose where you're going because there's no magic bullet to where we can take it. And I wish I could. Trust me, if I could eliminate.
I believe there's a guy, Joe Cusumano. Have you heard this about him?
No.
He recycled metals of dental fillings and this stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not from the United States, but maybe he can recycle the burrs.
Those guys only take the stuff they can make money on.
Oh, I don't know.
So I work with one locally, and he does a good job. They come in, they weigh your stuff, and they give you cash. We take that and put it in a pot for the assistants, take them out to dinner. But they won't take like the junk and the scrap metals, stuff like that, like the crown metal. They won't even take the amalgams. Some of them will think about it, but you want to recycle those correctly. One of the companies that are up here. You get lower power bills. I kind of talked about having a $300 power bill, and my water bill's my water bill is actually the whole building, but we've actually done the breakdown, and I think I want to say we're between $50 to $70 in water in the office. So for a commercial business, I think I pay less at the office than I do at home. Here we go again. I preempted myself. So, the bill being $300, the water bill about $70. I'm kind of a control freak, so I do my ordering in the office myself, and I know a lot of people, don't like doing it, so one of the assistants does it. So I can tell you, I literally, if I spend more than $25 to $3,000 in materials a month, there's something wrong with the office. And then a lot of those expenses are my CAD/CAM blocks. So then I don't have a lab bill, right? So my lab bill goes down because my blocks have become part of my materials costs. So now all of a sudden, another financial benefit. So in conclusion, I think I'm a little ahead. Oh, not too bad. A green dental practice is a very realistic proposition, okay? Just a few minor changes in your practice and even a biological practice can make a huge difference. I mean, like I said, you can't get rid of burrs. You know, the stuff that's mercury contaminated. There's certain things we can't do, but there's others that we can work on. So, you know, a little bit goes a long way. So I kind of stole this because when we did the Green Dentistry Conference, they were talking about the Monday morning takeaways, things that you can do when you show up at the office. I mean, one, set up some recycling containers. Most people don't have those in the office. And you have to explain it to your patients because they'll use the wrong trash can. I have the right is trash, the left is, and you know, because we wipe down the counters, I can't have a sign. So at this point, they've pretty much been educated. Everybody kind of knows it, and the girls do it. You know, setting the printer to double-sided print. That you can do when you get to the office. You just go to the computer and switch it over. Most people don't mind if they have to read both sides of the paper. And then, you know, again, call up your dental supply. You will be amazed by the amount of things that you'll find that's green, even with Patterson and Banco and Henry Schein. So this slide, and you know, Valerie Cantor put it yesterday. You know, be the change you wish to see in the world. You know, everybody uses it here at the IAOMT. But it's true. You know, we can talk about it, but you have to do it. I took that picture a couple of weeks ago. We were back in Puerto Rico, because we're from Puerto Rico, and literally, you know, this is a place over by the beach in Isabela, and they installed a non-cancer causing windmill so that when they didn't have any power, because Puerto Rico was not having power for how long? For months, for almost a year. They were able to run the place. So it's a really simple thing. One little change. And thanks. You know, I don't know if I went over time or too short, but that's my email if anybody has any questions or anything like that. And that's a nice picture of winter in Florida.